Welcome back to AM Northwest. From first heartbreaks to favorite meals, the new TV series Raising Fame takes viewers on a journey to discover the hidden stories behind the icons of entertainment and athletics, showcasing the human side of their extraordinary rise to fame.
Show like a musical family.
I sang, her dad sang, and he comes from a singing family as well. I think because of what I carried, I was singing. We always had a gospel group, a family gospel group. So it's like she got it, you know, it came through in by when I was carrying her, I think she picked it up.
Tell us about when you first had that dream to be a singer.
Well, I dreamed that I was singing in front of thousands of people. I was young. And I always tell people, it wasn't that I wanted to be famous. I didn't care nothing about the fame. I just knew that God had given me that same thing that I saw in my mother.
We welcome the hosts of Raising Fame, Lucille O'Neal and Sonya Curry. Good morning, you two. And you've raised fame. Lucille, you raised Shaquille O'Neal, and Sonya raised Steph and Seth Curry. This show is really interesting. What is your goal? When you're doing the interviews for each of you, what's your goal?
Well, one of our goals is to be able to share the truth about the families that we know about that are famous right now. But we want the listeners and the viewers to know that there is a journey behind all of that. Not always good, not always happy, but in it all, there has been success, there has been pleasure, there has been triumphs and trials, but we were anxious to get the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Sonya?
And to bring to TV into the world something real. I mean, there's a lot of reality TV out there. And so we wanted to just bring out, as Lucille just said, the truth and immerse people into just the emotions and not just pictures or videos, but just really being in the homes, being in the neighborhoods, going to schools, gyms, all of that, and just allowing the viewer to just really feel, not only see, but feel the journey that took place to Raising Fame.
You not only talk to the parents of these famous people, but possibly sometimes an aunt or a foster mom or something, because it really does take a village, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. We still live by that whole entire concept because villages in some places are crumbled, and they have crumbled, but we're excited because we realize that the village itself is very, very important. And we learned from some of these interviews that the village was really adamant and making sure that that one individual grew up in a loving environment.
And Sonya, would you say that one of the things that all these parents and relatives who helped to raise these kids into these incredible adults, that keeping them grounded was probably one of the keys here?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first building the foundation, we found that, you know, most of these families, you know, the foundation of spirituality and God, and then family second, you know, the responsibility and being a part of the family, or what I call the big machine, and keeping it rolling and functioning well, and building on that. And so, yes, you've got to stay hungry, how to stay humble along the way of trying to accomplish your dreams and your goals, just never to forget God, never to forget where you came from.
And Lucille, or should I say Dr. Lucille O'Neal, you stress the importance, you're welcome, you stress the importance of education, and that comes through too with Shaquille, right?
We teach our children that education is very, very important. And it is a true fact that you can never know enough. So having been able to obtain an education and an opportunity to be able to go forward, we always tell our children to put yourself in a place so that the door will open, you will receive that opportunity. And I reflect back, excuse me, on the fact that we wanted Shaquille to go to college being the eldest, and we didn't know how he was going to get there. But we stood in faith, he put in work, and a door opened so that he could receive an athletic scholarship. So yes, education opens many doors for all of us, for everybody.
Sonya, when did you know that Steph and Seth were going to go somewhere because, I mean, they were the kids of an NBA star, and that's kind of a lot of pressure to put on young boys.
Well, it's an extreme amount of pressure
Yeah.
to live in the shadow of your father, but then for Seth to live in the shadow of the father and the older brother.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And to not really fit the bill physically, not, to be judged like, the book, the cover of a book, and people not really knowing what had been planted in you by God and your purpose here on this earth and passions. And so yes, that was hard. That was hard to navigate. But one of the things, you just have to continue to allow your children to dream, be there to nurture them. And so it takes that village, like you just talked about. Sometimes we don't see it. Sometimes it's somebody else, like a coach, a teacher, or a neighbor, or somebody at the church that speaks that first little seed into your child's destiny, and then the rest is history. The rest is just to be unfolded. Really,
absolutely. Lucille, and with all of these interviews, did anyone surprise you or really touch your heart?
Well, all of them touched our heart in a special way, but we learned some things that we didn't know anything about. And the stories that you will hear are coming from the people who raised these individuals, and that surprised me of all the things that they went through. We have some similarities, and then we have some differences as well, but I was surprised to know that all of us had a spiritual concept in our homes. Because you look at people and you never know, but the belief and the faith that we all stood on surprised me, but I was so happy to know that and learn that.
That's awesome. Sonya, you have a connection to Portland. Seth played for the Blazers for a while, and then isn't your goddaughter now part of the WNBA, Cameron Brink?
Yes, she is. Yes, my best friend and husband still live there. And, I'd worked for Nike, retired from Nike. And so, that's a part of our village. That was part of Stephen and Seth Sedell's godmother. And so, that nurturing that we talk about, being present. There were times where Dell and I couldn't be present, but then she could step in and go. She still does that now with the grandbabies. I've got 9 of them, and I can't be everywhere.
Yeah.
So she'll take on some of that grandmother responsibilities as well. Yes.
That's awesome. And Dr. Lucille is a great grandmother. We have to point that out. We want to tell everyone that Raising Fame premieres Sunday at 10 p.m. on TV1. Thank you both so much.
Thank you for having us.
You bet.
Thank you so much, Kat.
You bet. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.